So sexual physical attraction is immensely important in general and in specific to romantic love. You should take no shame in valuing physical sexual attraction points very, very highly. Sexual attraction, this is a little bit of a separate point, it cannot sustain romantic love in itself, but it's a requirement. You can't, to go without it is, you're on thin ice. I mean, to have a long-term relationship with someone that you're not deeply and consistently physically attracted to, you're skating on thin ice and you're setting yourself up to really run uphill for years to come and just make things harder on yourself. So it is important. It's a requirement. I even have like kind of an analogy here. So in reference to nutrition, sexual physical attraction is at once the equivalent of both outstanding taste, so you enjoy it very much, but it's also an important nutrient. It's something that if you go without it, over time, it will catch up to you. Just like vitamins and minerals. You don't need them for the next month, but 2 months from now, you're going to be hurting. You're going to have some kind of conditions come up, some kind of deficiency, and you're going to pay the price for it. So over time, the need will surface, and you can't get away from it, I think. Myth number 5, sex is negative, bad, and shameful. This first point kind of brings us into the foresight, or into focus. I'm skeptical in general, but if pornography is immoral, it is so because sex is so good, not because it's so bad, which is what you've been told knowingly or unknowingly your entire life, from society and from religious institutions in particular. Sex is bad, so if you film it, that's also bad in itself, just because sex is bad, which I think is just horrible. That's like one of the most destructive ideas you can hold in life, that sex is something you should be ashamed of, that it's bad, that it's evil, that it should be in a dark room with, not that it can't be private, that's a good thing usually, to make it more enjoyable, but the idea that it's something that it should be a taboo and locked away and just bad, that's really, really bad. And in particular, it's very destructive, I think, for romantic love, to actually have that deep down in your subconscious, like an idea you have kind of floating around that's destructive. To the contrary, sex is a celebration of self, of life, and of reality, which is the exact opposite of something that's evil and bad, by definition. Something that I inferred from the book, as well as The Psychology of Romantic Love and elsewhere, is that sex in romantic love is the meeting of self-respect and admiration for another human being. So it's something that's great, fundamentally, deeply, definitively, across the board. It's not evil, it's not bad, you should not be ashamed of it. You should not be ashamed for wanting it all the time, as much as you want, indulging yourself and trying new things. A couple quotes that I really like from the book, I'll read them to you in case you can't. This one's directly from Nathaniel Branden. Sex is the assertion that your partner is a source of joy to you. This is true in romantic love, as it is true in general with someone you've just met recently. But it's even more true in the relationship. Another quote I liked a lot. The bed is like a metaphysical arena in which we play out the basic drama of our existence. This is something that when I read it, I shut up pretty quick. That was one of the truest statements I'd ever read, and I've definitely lived that in my own life. That has been, my experiences have confirmed that wholly and across the board. Myth number 6, love is selfless. As opposed to selfish. And when I say selfish, we don't need to get into it in there, but I'll get into it here. When I say selfish, I don't mean petty selfishness. I don't mean lying, cheating, stealing, self-destructive behavior. I mean it like Yaron Brooks said at this convention just a few months ago in Texas and in London. Rational self-interest. Just like, as Nathaniel says, your next breath of air is selfish. You want to live, so you're going to breathe. You're going to eat. You're going to drink. You're going to enjoy life. These things are selfish. You enjoy these things. But they're rationally selfish. You're not selfish. You're not hurting people when you breathe. You're not hurting people generally when you eat, unless you rob them. And drink, and enjoy life, and meet women, and so on. So selfishness in rational self-interest, the best sense possible. Not what you've been told about selfishness as far as it being lying, cheating, and stealing, which in my opinion is not selfish, but self-destructive. And is obviously destructive to the people around you. So, one of the greatest aspects of mature romantic love is that your self-interest, your selfishness, grows to deeply encompass another human being. That is almost a direct quote from the book, and I agree with that deeply. If you're in a committed relationship that you care very much about, well, if you value your partner very much, your interest in life, how much you care about, I mean, this is seen in movies, sometimes it's not too bad, but you care about the other person almost as much, or maybe even more than you care about yourself. So it becomes something where your interest in life, I mean, she is just on every level with you, which is something that's really rare and really powerful. As far as selfishness and being selfish and selfless, as far as the myth goes, you should not only bring your best self to the table in a romantic relationship, I think it will be absolutely necessary in the long term. So when someone says that love is, in any sense, selfless, this is just by definition false. You really need to bring yourself to the table, the best self possible, the self that you have developed, that you have created, that you have authored in your own life. There's no way around it. Nor would you want to avoid that in any capacity. Finally, to choose a woman out of billions and assert the fact that she is of particular and immense importance to you is one of the most rationally selfish acts you can take in life. When you choose a woman to be in a relationship with, of any degree, of any caliber, you're declaring that she is more important and she's of greater value and importance to you than all the other ones, no matter how many you've met, whether it's 10 or 1,000 or 1,000,000. So this is just the act itself of being in a relationship and of choosing her and of judging that she is of great value to you and she shares your values in life and you want her to be a part of your life to a great capacity. This is just selfish in itself. You want that, and it's a good thing. It's not selfish in the self-destructive sense, obviously.